Thank you so much for staying with us. Time now for our conversation on To The Point tonight. And once again, I invite you to engage with us because I see a lot of your feedback already. I love it. I appreciate it, okay? TV47 News on X, TV47 Kenya on Facebook, and my X handle is at Grace Courier KE, okay? So, on To The Point tonight, we discuss alcoholism. Now, listen to this. So alcohol use is part of many cultural, religious, and social practices and provides perceived pleasure to many users. That sounds like the good part, right? And I want us to just pause there because I usually don't do this enough times. It's too early to engage my guests, but I feel I need to right now because I want us to just react to this. My choice of words here, yeah? You are at liberty to do so, as gentlemen, because I do this because there's a feedback or there's reaction from one of our viewers here at at Francis Mutinda. He says, alcoholism is fueled by negative stereotypes. Most communities talk positively about alcohol. It's a disaster. According to him, I don't know where he got the stats, but out of 10 people, only 3 don't take alcohol. That's Francis. Let's not dwell there, but let's take a look at the first part of his text. Alcoholism is fueled by negative stereotypes. Most communities talk positively about alcohol, which kind of rhymes with what I say here. And I want to engage you, gentlemen. Reverend Dr. Stephen Mairori, yes, who is the Nakada Board Chairman, Kevin Carey, the petitioner to have alcoholism declared a national disaster in Kenya, Mr. Crispus Kimaru, who is an addiction counselor and a recovering alcoholic. And I need to mention that at some point we shall be joined by Professor Seth Okech, who is the chairman, APRAC, that is Addiction Prevention and Rehabilitation Association of Kenya. Quick reactions. I'll start with you, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, particularly on the cultural side. Now, even going to December, you have these ceremonies and, people then take it as part of the cultural ceremonies. They bring alcohol in, and that is very, very bad it's a way of getting in the young people. Social parties, again, December and during the weekends, a lot of people engage in social parties. And the worst part of it that we see is celebrities now are brought in. And so young people think this is a cool thing because if so-and-so is part of it, then it's a very cool thing and they become part of it. So that is true.
Mr. Kevin?
Thank you very much. My name is Kevin Carey, the petitioner. Now for purposes of this conversation, when you talk of cultural aspect of it, we're looking at the many various cultural activities that mostly happen during this season of December. And we have to agree that in all those occasions, the use of alcohol is of course dominant. But now what we see to this extent is that we have the moderate use of alcohol. And when you talk of the cultural, religious, and social practices, you find that most of the alcohol being consumed is not the second generation alcohol, which is what we are trying to at least curb, because now they have become, they are now flooding the market, the second generation. And when you look at the adverse effects of this second generation alcohol is what now leads to the sickness and the health issues that results as a result of alcoholism. Yes.
For someone who might not be familiar with the terms you're using, what is the second generation alcohol?
Second generation now, most of it is now what we call like the changa. Changa is the second generation. Now the spirits that are now, the potable spirits now that are flooding the market. And most of this you find that they have been either okayed by the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, now the KEBS, and the anti-counterfeit. So there's a challenge which of course we're going to converse around that later in the conversation.
Sure.
Yes.
Mr. Crispus?
Yes, I'm Crispus Kimaru. I'm in recovery after 17 years of struggling. I'm now 6 years sober. I'm also an addiction counselor. I would like to maybe clarify that when we talk about alcoholism, there's a difference between alcohol use and alcoholism. When you're talking about alcoholism, we are talking about a disease of the brain. When you talk about alcohol use, that's somebody who is drinking maybe, like Kevin is saying, without any problems. But when you come to alcoholism, then there's the loss of control, there's a brain issue. We are talking about a mental health issue. So like Kevin is saying, in cultural, religious, and social practices, there was always the use of alcohol. But now what we are having here, it's not only about the second generation or even the first generation. Any type of alcohol, it's ethanol, whether it's Moratina, whether it's Changa, whether it's the brown bottle, I don't want to mention brands. Whatever type of alcohol you are taking, there's a risk. If you have some predisposing factors, there's a risk of you sinking into alcoholism. So for me, coming from my background as a recovering alcoholic, any type of alcohol misused, or if you have underlying issues, you might end up sinking into alcoholism. So yes, there is perceived pleasure for many users, but most of us don't even know when we cross the boundary into addiction.
Yeah.
Right. And you've mentioned something that is on my list somewhere, the list of my questions, because I intended to ask, and I'll do it now, is alcoholism a disease?
To me, it's a disease. To every scientist out there, a scientist or any doctor, we agree. And I think to Nakada, it's a disease.
He actually did nod when you said it is.
Anything that, changes your mental need, alcohol has the same effect. And sometimes when people use it, they think they are doing for pleasure, but over time, it affects their mental condition, and it becomes a disease. So we treat, in fact, these days we tell the police, if you get somebody in serious alcoholism, take them like a sick person, because they are sick.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens over time, like Dr. is saying, you change your brain reward circuitry, your brain reward system changes over time. So you start as fun. Everyone started as fun. I started as fun in 1999 when I was 17 years. But within a few years, you see, before 25 years, your brain is not yet fully developed. So I was altering so many things in my brain. My brain reward system became accustomed to the alcohol. So with the time, it became very easy for me to become addicted. So that's why we are saying even the treatment that we give in rehabilitation centers or any other place, it has to, you also bring in the aspect of what we call therapy or counseling. Yeah.
Right, okay. So let's move on to the point. And according to the Global Status Report on Alcohol and Health 2018, that is by WHO, World Health Organization, the harmful use of alcohol results in the death of 3 million people annually. Let me take that again. The harmful use of alcohol results in the death of 3 million people annually. In 2018, the worldwide total consumption was equal to 6.2 liters of pure alcohol per person 15 years and older. And recorded consumption accounts for 26% of the worldwide total consumption. And on a positive note, 57% of adults abstained from alcohol in the past 12 months. That was in 2016. Again, let's pause. And again, I just want a reaction to this. We shall get to the statistics in Kenya that are from Nakada, like I did mention to you guys while we took the break. But this is shocking.
Yes.
It's actually, I would say, probably that figure could be very high.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Because like in Kenya, we don't check, most people, when they die because of alcohol effects, people report it as something else because of stigma and many other things. So I don't think that has been captured well. But even looking at that figure, that is very high. That is very high.
I tend to concur with what Chair is saying here, because initially, a long time ago, when you're talking of alcoholism, you could mention families that have incidences or victims that are prone into alcoholism. But right now, each and every household has either directly or indirectly has a victim who is addicted now to alcohol. And now looking at the figures and the adverse effects of consumption of this alcohol, I'm sure the numbers are quite high. And as just the way Chair said, a lot of people in the villages are ashamed or even embarrassed to say that so-and-so died as a result of alcoholism, or so-and-so maybe died as a result of maybe a medical issue that resulted to the consumption of alcohol. So the numbers might be very high right now.
That's true.
Yes.
Mr. Crispus, can we talk about this? There's some positivity, at least. In 2016, 57% of adults abstained from alcohol.
Was that in Kenya? That's the first because in Kenya, seriously.
Such an agreement.
Yeah. Nakada Chair will tell you, in Kenya, I think that will not be true. Because we have...
Okay, fine, this is globally. And this is from WHO.
Yes.
Don't crucify me.
Because we are being told, or they told us a few months back, that 42.4% of alcohol users in Kenya are already addicted, but they don't know. So almost 50% of everyone who is using alcohol is in addiction, but they don't know. But I'll also harp on the first one, the first statistic there. It is a good reason that for Kevin to even make that petition, because we have so many people dying. In my work, I go to many hospitals and I'm finding so many people. Consider not only the person who is dying because of, like the chair is saying, directly cause of alcohol, maybe liver cirrhosis. There are those who will die in accidents. So many road accidents. Yeah. The Kenya police, was it last year? They said they talked about so many road accidents being caused by alcohol. The borders. Then we have violence instigated by alcohol use.
That's true.
You see, even in gender-based violence and also any type of violence in football matches or anywhere. There are so many deaths related to alcohol. So maybe, like we are saying, I wish we could maybe in the next report by NACADA next year or in the 5 years, maybe they could capture that so that we can get our own statistics.
Yeah. So what we are all saying is the numbers must be higher.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned, and I love this panel because I'm getting more questions, we call them follow-up questions from what you people are saying. You said there are so many people who are addicted, but they do not know. Expound.
Yes. You see, in Kenya, we are talking about sherehe. It has become a common thing for everyone to have a drink. Actually, for us who are in recovery or those who are not taking alcohol, you are viewed as if you are not normal. You see, alcohol has become kind of a culture, a lifestyle in Kenya. But what we are seeing is, and I'll use an example here. If you go to Kamaki's area, for instance, where there are so many bars, at 4 in the evening, every day, from 4 to 7, you find so many people there. Every day. These are people who are working, but they rushed to those places to be in the bar. They will stay in those bars up to maybe 11, closing time. These people have a problem, because you see them on Monday, you see them on Tuesday, on every other day. That is normal. That is not normal alcohol use. You're seeing people now normalizing having alcohol in the house. It's an excuse that this is cool. I have no problem with alcohol. But they will sip something in the morning. That is a sign that this is becoming a problem. Every day there is an excuse to have alcohol. In Kenya, it's becoming, we have so many occasions. A baby is born, we have alcohol. A baby dies, a child dies, anyone dies, there is alcohol. Even digging a toilet in the village, there is alcohol. Even a cow falls in the pit, there is alcohol. Community, there is always alcohol. We have so much alcohol, and most of us are sinking into addiction without knowing, and we are defending it so much. I always ask myself, if you go to a bar, chair, you will hear people defending. There's alcohol. Even my forefathers were drinking. But if you go to a Chips cafe or a hotel, you not hear people defending the food they are eating. So these ones know there's a problem. And again, like when I was drinking, you would find us at 5 a.m. in the bar. I was a teacher. At one point, I was working at Safaricom. What am I doing at 5 a.m. in the morning before going to class? I didn't want to agree or to accept that I had a problem. There are so many of maybe people in addiction right now, but they don't want to accept. You don't want to accept. So we have a problem, like Kevin is saying. It's a national disaster for me.
I would like to say probably for us, a question I ask people normally is, if you can't stay without alcohol, there's very high chance that you are addicted. Because if you can stay without it and control yourself, in that way, then you are still in. But most people can tell you, like he has said, it reaches a certain time they can't control, they just want. In fact, the brain tells them, they are driving this way, and then you'll find them driving, going the other direction where there is alcohol, because they are addicted. And actually, most of the people that you would call sober people, that you would say they are just having social drinks, very likely most of them are addicted already. Yes.
Kevin, you have something?
Yes. You know, the moment that we realize that there's a problem is that we even have songs that praise alcohol. So even now being sober or not taking alcohol, you're taken as if you're the person who is sick. And you find that even in most occasions, that even people right now, they even in the mornings as early as 6 when you go to the office, your colleague either is drunk, is smelling alcohol, at noon, and at any time, at any point of time during the day, you'll definitely find 1 or 2 people who are drunk and extremely drunk. It has even reached a point of even pastors relapsing and even now sinking into alcoholism as a joke. So I think it's something that needs to be taken as urgent as possible, because now this, in the next few years or so, we'll not have a generation to talk about, because now everyone now is into alcohol. When you look at the younger ones after us, now everyone is drinking. So you wonder, where are we heading? Where are we heading as a nation? Because if everyone is drinking, who will be rehabilitating the other? Who will be teaching the others? You get? So that's a challenge that we need to sort as early as now, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
You see, if you are
30 seconds, we're due for a break.
Okay. If you have a road trip, for instance, or a party, the first question, if you call people, the first question is there alcohol? Or who is bringing the alcohol? It's that normalized.
You know, we're laughing, but it's not funny.
Yeah, it's not. It's a serious
Yeah,
thing.
it is. So many reactions, including from Charles. You have something you want to say? You want to join us? Okay. Keep your feedback coming. I see it, okay? Any questions you have, any comments you have, keep them coming. We are due for a short break on To The Point. Let's take it. Stay with us.